Well, what's going on, everyone? This is the Standing Room Only podcast. Welcome back for another week, episode number 37. If you guys don't follow our social media pages, you can follow uh, the podcast social media, SR Only Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Then you can follow our personal pages. I am the Healy6.
And I am iGoose. That's with 4 O's. Don't ask why. Instagram, Twitter, get at me.
And now
Let's
Twitch.
communicate.
Now
And Twitch.
Twitch.
Yes. So I decided to join Twitch. Go ahead and follow me. I will be gaming. I'll be playing 2K to start. I will eventually mix in other games. We'll talk about that later. But thanks for the shout out there, Healy, and the reminder. Also, we are on YouTube, the Standing Room Only podcast. As Healy said, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, more importantly, for the podcast, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you do like what you hear, give us a download. A download for us counts as a view. We don't really see the viewers, so it's very important that you do hit that download button. And of course, like, subscribe, leave a rating, and interact with us on social media.
Yeah, we're always down to talk sports, so we're get more topics for the next podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Major League Baseball coming back. We're going to talk about our awards predictions for the NBA and the NBA coming back tomorrow, as well as some football news. So opening weekend for baseball, we've seen a 10th of the season so far. Your Chicago White Sox didn't look so great. My Cubs, they've looked pretty decent. But both of them today did the opposite. The White Sox won. Cubs looking like they're going to lose right now. But, yeah, what are your thoughts of the season so far?
Oh, man. As you mentioned, the Sox, it's been a hard pill to swallow the first 5 games or so. Giolito, the potential Cy Young winner last year, the potential Cy Young candidate this year in a small season, got destroyed by Minnesota. You mentioned Minnesota is not weak anywhere in their offense, and they all smack bombs. And let me tell you, when you said that, and I know I wasn't trying to focus on last year's numbers because they did. I'm pretty sure they almost set a record for home runs.
They did.
I didn't think that would carry over, but they were smacking Nelson Cruz, who's 40 years old, I think hit 3 home runs in the series, 2 in a game, had 6 RBIs. It was a massacre. The pitching was, I think that's the biggest thing my biggest takeaway from the weekend so far is how many runs are being scored by these teams. Because the Sox in their series, the winning team scored at least 10 runs.
Mm-hmm.
The Sox won game 2. They had a scare with an injury. Ronaldo Lopez left the game. He was having some uncomfortable feeling. I don't know if it was a muscle in his shoulder and his throwing arm. He left the game. And I'm pretty sure the same game, Eloy Jimenez was backtracking to the warning track and ran right into the wall for a grand slam. Didn't realize it. He left the game, and I think it was 2 innings later.
Yeah.
He ended up being okay, was not concussed. He's back now. The Sox are starting to get the bats going, which is nice. I like to see that. Yohan Moncada I think it was the first game, smacked a huge bomb. We were texting back and forth. So I like what the offense is doing, but I'm liking what the offense is doing on a lot of teams, especially against the Sox so far. And versus the Cubs, Kyle Hendricks pitched a shutout in his first game. They've been bringing their bats. Rizzo is hot, and I don't know. I think the Cubs were part of my prediction. So far, I'm right on one of the 2 Chicago teams.
Yeah, they're going to be 4-2 after tonight's game. Kyle Hendricks did pitch. He allowed 4 runs to the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati Reds had a horrible start. They're going to be 2-4, I believe, after today. So every team's pretty close. This was the first time since 1950 or something where a team hasn't started out 3-0. Every team's coming to the plate to battle. Every division is close so far. That is great to see. A lot of runs. I think I talked about this. I think I talked about how due to the short end comeback, I felt like there was going to be a million home runs and like a lot of runs. And that seems to be the case. Pitchers, they're only going like 75 pitches right now. I saw DeGrom opening day get taken out 75. Lester got taken out yesterday at 75. Guys are just starting to get warmed up. They don't want to use them fully.
Yeah.
And we've seen the DH play a factor in National League games. It's been fun to watch as a Cubs fan and like a National League guy. It's been fun to see the DH be in play. Also, we've seen some games with the extra runner on base in the 10th inning for extras. That's been interesting. There's the Brewers Pirates that went into the 11th inning. It was either yesterday or 2 days ago, which it should have been over after 10. You have a runner on second, 0 outs. Both teams failed to do anything. Kind of fun for this year to see that. And yeah, the rules so far haven't really been a problem. You've seen the bad teams win. You've seen the good teams win as well. We're just getting started. A lot of great matchups too.
Yeah. I think it's hard to say who's gonna win what division. It's still early. Cleveland Indians, their pitching is wicked. I think every pitcher had like 10 Ks in their starting rotation this past week. And it has me second guessing who's going to take the wild card in second place, because I feel like Minnesota should be that team to take their division, if not the Sox.
Yeah.
Cleveland looks nice. I mean, I'm excited. Baseball's back. We do have some other baseball news. I guess we can get started with the earlier news over the past few days, in which the Florida Marlins, like, I don't know what the total number is, 16, 15,
19.
up to 19 players have tested positive for COVID. They are forced to postpone games. I think so far they've postponed 2 games. I could be wrong.
They aren't playing until Monday.
So I know the plan is, and the rule is, it's like 2 negative tests. I think that's what they said before the season started. If somebody tests positive, test negative, and I think you give it another day or 2, test negative again, you're good to go. 19 guys testing positive, that's a big number. What to expect moving forward? What happens if more guys on their team test positive, or other players and other teams? And what is the unwritten rule, the rule that is going on, or what's the talk behind the scenes, where now a team's forced to maybe suspend more games in this shortened 60-game season? I mean, you can bunch on double headers, and that's what it seems like may have to happen. But how many can you actually do to where you're not killing these guys?
Yeah, there is talks of maybe moving it to 7-inning doubleheaders. I hope not, based off the season already starting and like the rules put in place, but it's 2020 this year. It's going to be wild regardless with the rule set. The crappy thing about the Marlins, though, I don't know if you heard, they had 3 guys test positive on Friday or something, and it might have been Sunday. I think it was Sunday. But yeah, 3 guys test positive, and the team, no one really knew. Besides the team, they had a group text to see if they still wanted to play, and those 3 players still played over the weekend in that game, which is now up to 19 guys. They're all in the dugout together. Luckily, none of the Phillies have tested positive. They aren't going to play until Saturday. They already made Saturday a doubleheader of their next series, because Thursday through Saturday would be the range that they would test positive after exposure.
Yep.
So they're still waiting on the Phillies to play, but come on. You guys know about what's going on. We get that you are competitive, but there's all these rules put in place, and they just single-handedly were like, all right, we're trying to win. Like, let's just hide this. Hopefully it passes over. No, they decided to play with it.
Yeah, I don't get how they thought they would get away with it, and knowing they're testing before like every game the night before, and it's like, it's gonna make people wonder, why is there not a bubble like in the NBA? Because in the NBA today, I think they released 0 positive tests
Hmm.
officially, which is successful. That's doing it the right way. You don't have
Yeah.
to worry. Granted, these guys probably are asymptomatic. They're all athletes. Um, but it's the simple fact that it's a problem in the world. We know that nobody wants it. So if I'm the other team and I find out that team somebody has it, well, let's pump our brakes a little bit. Let's postpone and maybe let's get everybody tested. But you're telling me you're going to test behind the scenes and 3 guys, I didn't even know that. 3 guys tested positive and they were okay to play. That's or
Yeah.
even be with the ball club is it's I mean it's stupid. It's
Yeah.
dumb.
And they did have the bubble as a proposal. We all know it would have been Florida and
Yep.
Arizona, or just everyone in Arizona. They decided against it. I feel like it's fine without the bubble. I just feel like they need to enforce a stricter like rule set for all the players. I saw Marlins players posting photos with Meek Mill over the weekend. I don't know where they're at. Doesn't look like they're in a club or anything, but just the fact that they were
What?
taking photos with Meek Mill meant that like they were seeing people. Like they were like meeting people that weren't with the team, and who knows who they came in contact with. Like when you're traveling on the road, you should only be restricted to like seeing your teammates and like maybe getting food and stuff.
That's it. That's it. Play smart. And I know a lot of these guys questioned it going into the season. Is it worth risking a shortened season? Meek Mill? Come on. You don't know where Meek Mill's been.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. But that is, I mean, that's huge news right now. Obviously, it's national news. It's been all
Yeah.
over just outside of Sports Center. So we'll see what ends up happening. We don't really know yet. But
I'm
we have some other baseball news as well.
I'm still trying to figure out what they're gonna do with the games. From what I heard is that they're gonna like forfeit the games. Like I don't know if by forfeiting the Marlins automatically take the L. I don't know if they forfeit them and let's say at the end of the season they're like 3 games back and they need these 3 games played and then they're gonna play them. Uh, Maybe they just take the loss on it because they're supposed to play 60 games in 67 days. There's no makeup days. It's going to be double headers when they make up these games. I never expected the Marlins to finish at the top, but yeah, forfeit games. There is a new rule where if a game is played and there's at least one pitch thrown and weather ruins the game ends there. So like we saw it last week with the Yankees. The Yankees won opening night. Garrett Cole and Max Scherzer technically got complete games. So like if someone hits a home run top one, the game ends. I think that team wins. You don't need the 4.5 innings played
The
anymore.
4.5, yeah.
So that could be interesting along the way. We've already seen a lot of doubleheaders.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Other baseball news we saw yesterday: Joe Kelly and the Dodgers getting at it.
Legendary. Legendary.
Did you see the video of like what happened with it?
I did. Yeah, it was all over Twitter this morning. I saw some statuses yesterday about, you know, how the league loves Houston and all, everything. Um I I don't know. I don't think I mean, yeah, was he wrong? So, let's backtrack. Joe Kelly is suspended for 8 games. He Carlos Correa was up at bat. Did it start with Bregman?
Yes, a 3-0
So,
count.
on a 3-0 count, Bregman he got beamed, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he just threw at him.
Yeah.
And he didn't like it. Obviously, he didn't like it. He expressed it. He didn't say anything, but you could tell in his face he's like he's ready to fight. So
Hmm.
Carlos Correa comes up, and I don't know if he said anything on the way up, but Joe Kelly's throwing at him again. But Joe Kelly worked the count and ended up getting a strikeout. He threw a
Yeah.
nasty slider, breaking ball, something low and away, and Carlos Correa chased it, had
Mm-hmm.
no shot, made him look dumb. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Joe Kelly and Correa they're barking back and forth at each other. Joe Kelly gives this facial expression, basically like cry about it, and the bench is clear. The bench is clear in COVID. What's going on?
Yeah.
So that it was awesome to see. Do I think Joe Kelly was wrong for what he did? Yes. Is it justified? It's just about as justifiable as every other pitcher that's going to throw at Astros batters. Let's put it that way.
Do you think it was on purpose?
There was it's hard to tell because there was like 3 pitches inside.
Then one of them was
And
a breaking ball.
one was a breaking ball where Correa backed off and it ended up not being that close to hitting him.
Mm.
Another one did get close, and then the third, I'm pretty sure it was the third one hit him or almost hit him. Like it was like thrown at him. But I mean, 3 wild pitches, and then he still attacked him. I think it was on purpose only because in baseball, even when there's no bad blood, sometimes you throw chin music at
Yeah.
batters. That's just, and you don't constantly throw at the batter because then it looks intentional. But
Mhm.
sometimes you go high and in with a fastball, you're gonna back him off the plate
Yeah.
a little bit.
Especially when you get 4
Well,
balls.
especially
You
exactly.
could waste
Now,
one.
so I feel like he did do it on purpose. Was it because the team cheated? Yeah, I say maybe it's that, and Joe Kelly's making a statement, but Joe Kelly also made a statement and said, "Hey, I backed you off the plate, and I went at you on a low and away breaking ball, and you chased it like a goof. So what he did worked. He got the strikeout. It's part of the game, and I mean, we saw he got suspended for 8 games, and we know like Dusty Baker got fined.
Yeah.
Um,
Dave Roberts
What's
for a game.
what's your impression of I mean, 8 games is a lot.
Yeah. I'm surprised Carlos Correa didn't get suspended at all because he's the reason why everyone came on the field for that.
Yeah.
And especially in the super strict rules that they have now for fighting, they want social distancing. One point that I don't know if you knew, Carlos Correa hit a home run earlier in the game, and he was talking to his dugout while running around the bases. So Carlos Correa was barking earlier in the game. That probably played a factor as well. Joe Kelly wasn't even on the Dodgers at that point, but he was a part of the Red Sox, who got swept in that year.
Yep.
8 games in 60 games. It's over 10% of the games as a relief pitcher. They mostly only get 5 games in a normal season. 8 games is a lot. I feel like
I think
2 or 3 might have been most at max. I just think they are really getting at don't do this. They're setting
yeah.
him, they're making him the example.
Yeah. And it like you said, most they would get 5 games. It's 8 games out of 60, and I think I saw an average comes out to, if it was a 162 game season, ends up being like 22 games, which would not be the case. But like you said, they're trying to make an example. Don't fight. We know, and people are going back and forth. It's, you have the Houston Astros. Why are they so loved by the league? Why was nobody suspended for cheating?
Yeah.
Why did the players not even get a slap on the wrist? Now you're going to protect them in the game. I don't know if it's that deep. Like, I think people are looking too deep into it. But 8 games is a lot for a relief pitcher, especially a pitcher like Joe Kelly. It's not like it's a starting pitcher and you're like, hey, you can't play 8 games because you're only going to miss 1 start at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to say 8 games for a pitcher who can probably come in 6, 7, 8 games of the 8 games and pitch an inning. Important. I mean, every game is important. He's going to appeal it. I can see it getting reduced maybe to a 5 game. Only because I think it's pretty evident that he threw on purpose. He mocked Carlos Correa, which again, I thought was funny. I thought it was hilarious, but like you said, the league has to crack down somehow, especially now that I mean, an organization allowed a team with COVID to play. So I think they have to be super strict with it. The fines, the 1 game suspension for the one player that you mentioned, I think it doesn't seem fair, but it almost has to happen
Yeah.
with how the world is right now.
Mm-hmm. And nothing happened in the game tonight. I was watching it. MLB TV. Oh, it's been a blessing in disguise. Besides not being able to watch the Cubs and Sox, but I've been watching so much baseball over the weekend, especially with MLB TV. You're allowed to have like 4 games at once. It has been so much baseball. I'm super glad it's back. Derek Holland also got ejected over the weekend. I don't know if you saw that.
From the crowd.
Yeah, he was like in the he wasn't in the bleachers, but it was funny. I'm like friends with Derek Holland, I would say, or acquaintances. He streams on Twitch. He streams on Twitch like after games as well. So like he started yesterday, and after the game he was streaming. But we've talked here and there, and it was funny on Twitter. Someone asked him like, "Oh, what did you say?" And he didn't say exactly what he said, but he was like, "Oh, it's hot out here." And then the umpire is like, "Then go inside," and like pointed to go inside instead of like the actual ejection. What he said,
That's
but I
hilarious.
think he said like that's not a strike or something and yelled it. There could be
And
a lot.
everything can be heard.
Yeah. Yeah, the umpire is going to hear every player chatter this year. I
Yep.
would not be surprised if people get ejected more. We do have some struggling players so far. Christian Yelich. He is not looking good at
Still not looking
all.
good.
I don't know like if you saw, but opening day he struck out or like grounded out, and I was like, "Oh, Christian Yelich doesn't have it anymore." This dude is batting .037. He has 1 hit this year, and it's a
One.
home run against the Cubs.
Yep.
He struck out 12 times in 27 at-bats. That's
Wow.
not good. He's
That's wow.
walked once as well. Guys are attacking him right now. He is looking terrible.
That
Not great.
is I didn't realize he's only had 1 hit. I can tell you that. His exhibitions games were horrible. That kind of pointed me towards the direction of choosing or not choosing him as the league MVP this year for
Mm-hmm.
futures. But then he hit a home run towards I think in the last exhibition game. So I was like, okay, maybe he's going to come around. I did see he hit a home run against the Cubs. To see that he has 1 hit, and granted, it's still early,
Yeah.
but it makes you wonder, is it a mental game? Because he hasn't played an important game in so long after he broke his leg last year.
Yeah. And he kind of got
You
rushed
know,
back.
yeah, maybe. I mean, there's that chance.
Yeah. 1 for 27 right now. It's not great. He's reached base twice. Mookie Betts is another one struggling. Same with Mike Trout, but I think those guys will get it together. They could have a good game, and their average is going to be well again.
Yeah.
They're facing decent players. But yeah, Christian Yelich. Like, I want to see him succeed. Not against the Cubs, but I want to see him do well. He's a fun baseball player to watch, and
He's great.
I don't know what's gotten into him. Like you said, he struck out 13 times in the spring training, and he's
Yeah,
already struck out 12.
and we're talking about the same player who was on pace to win MVP last year. Was batting 325, 330 plus the whole season almost. He had over 45. He had almost 50 home runs. He
Mm-hmm.
was in the home run chase with Bellinger, and
Yeah.
he got hurt. And now, from what we're seeing, doesn't look like he's back. And like you said, it does take 1 game, though. You can have a couple 3-hit games in a row, and all of a sudden your average is up, especially in a 60-game season. Is it likely?
he
Maybe
goes
not.
he goes 3 for 3 tomorrow, and his average would be 100.
Just like that. It only takes a couple of good games. And that's the thing about baseball, too. It's Normally, when you're like midway through the season, you're in August, you've already had like 400 at bats, close to maybe 350. You're like, all right, you can go 0 for 3 a few games and your average only drops a few points. But right now, I mean, any good game could turn it around. I think Yelich. I don't know. He has not done anything yet. So we'll see. And Milwaukee needs him, especially because the Cubs look pretty damn good so far to start the season.
Hmm.
And that's considering. I mean, we saw Schwarber hit a home run. Chris Bryant
Rizzo,
hasn't. Yeah, Rizzo has been on fire. He's tied for league lead in home runs. But like their star player Bryant hasn't come around yet.
he's been
He, if he comes
091.
if he comes around, that team is, I would say, should be able to take that division, even though the Reds are a very, very good ball club. They just beat the Cubs today, or about to beat the Cubs today. Maybe. We don't know.
Yeah. They won
Very
12-7.
they did. Okay. So Reds are a very good ball club, but the Cubs, I mean, if they keep doing what they're doing, Milwaukee's gonna have a tough time while Christian Yelich is trying to figure out his his swing. So
Yeah, him and KB are both struggling right now. I don't know
yep.
what KB needs to do, but Rizzo 3 homers, Giancarlo Stanton another big performer this past weekend. He had a couple home runs in today's game. He currently is he is 0 for 2 right now. He does have a walk, but he's playing well. Aaron Judge is playing decent. I'm
Yankees look pretty good, it's safe to say.
Yeah, yeah, especially their bullpen. Oh man, the Cubs bullpen is terrible. Their starting rotation is the reason why they're winning games. Did you watch that game the other day where Craig Kimbrell came into the ball game?
The new and improved, I shaved my whole face, Craig Kimbrell. I did,
Yeah,
which game?
he was only pitched in one.
Oh, it's the one. Okay.
Yeah, and it
I
was
did
the
not
one.
watch the game, but I saw the stats.
Yeah, it was 8-3, and the Cubs had an 8-1 lead in that game. He walked 4 guys in a row, and maybe hit a batter as well. Got 0 outs. Jeffries had to come in. He might have walked a guy. And the Cubs won 8-7 with bases loaded. I thought for sure they were about to lose. But
Kimbrell has, 54 ERA from one game.
yeah, he was walking a lot of guys. I don't know what's happened with him. I saw someone on Twitter was like, he's had 2 long delays. Last year, he had an extended delay because he didn't sign until July. This
Yep.
year, he just hasn't been able to play. He was wild. He could not find the strike zone to save his life. I don't know if he was trying to throw hard. He was throwing like 95, but he was not throwing any pitches in the zone, and the Reds players knew that, and they walked. They got lucky. Philip Bervin with 1 out in the inning. They were down 1. He 3-2 had a ball right next to his hands by his chin. He swung at it, struck out. 3-2 count. And both pitchers, Jeffries and Kimbrell, weren't finding the zone. That should have been like probably a guaranteed take. You strike out looking because you want to. They couldn't find the zone, and luckily the Cubs won because of that. But oh my, their bullpen is atrocious right now.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because the Cubs the past couple of years, they haven't had any moves. I can't remember the last, well, Yu Darvish, Tyler Chatwood. Those are like the 2 signings in the past like 4 years the Cubs have had since winning the World Series. You have Kimbrell as well, but like that was like a mid-season thing, and like they kind of got him for cheaper, but they let Castellanos go. They've let a lot of guys just slide. They didn't sign Bryce Harper when they probably could have.
Yeah. Chicago was on his destination list, and I'm pretty sure at the top of his list. And he played with Chris Bryant growing up too.
Yeah.
So that would have been a perfect destination. They really have not done anything. Which even then, it's showing, obviously, their bullpen. I don't even know who their last great relief pitcher was. Did they have like Miller? I don't even know. I don't even know who their last good relief pitcher
Oh,
was.
Chapman. They had Chapman, Wade Davis the next season,
Wade Davis, yeah, yeah.
and then 18
So,
through 20, they've like been iffy with closers.
mhm. So their bats. It's a good thing their bats are doing what they're doing, and they're putting up the amount of runs that they're
And there's
putting up. Even in this game today that they
yeah,
lost, they were down 9-0 at one point,
uh-huh.
and they ended up putting up 7 runs.
And they're starting pitchers as well.
And the starters, yeah.
Their starters have
So
been killing it, which is great to
that's
see.
that's very good, especially because we saw a few starters get rocked early. And as you mentioned, some guys are being pulled out of games after throwing 60, 70, 75 pitches. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, it's gonna be a few weeks out before they're in. I don't even know how you're gonna call it mid-season form because technically it's kind of past mid-season. But yeah, relief pitchers they don't throw a lot in games, so we'll see. I think Kimbrel will be fine. I think Kimbrel after the next game, another maybe the game after, you'll see he'll be fine. They just have to, he needs to get some more pitching in clearly because hey, no matter how good a team is, to for a pitcher to be of that caliber to not pitch good at all. I mean, not even hit the zone. That's a problem.
Yeah. Cubs, though, on their schedule, they have the Pirates and Royals coming up for 7 games. That is going to be fun. Hopefully they win 5 out of those 7 games. The White Sox schedule, Luis Robert. I don't know if you saw it. He has 5 hits so far. All of them are above 100 miles per hour, which is great to see. That means he's just killing the ball. That team's fun to watch.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, they lost a couple games. The Twins
Mhm.
destroyed them. But I feel like they're going to turn it around. They only won 1 of 3 against the Indians. They go up against the Royals next. And then they have the Brew Crew, and then they face the Indians again. So it should be a good week for them. Lucas Giolito did bounce back to.
He did. He didn't get the victory, but he did pitch shutout innings. The Sox ended up winning. They scored all their runs in the ninth inning, 4-0. Got the victory there, which was huge because every game counts, and the Sox are down in the division. I think they were 2 and I don't even know what their actual what the standings are right now for them, but they they were 2-4 going into this game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it's a big win. Minnesota and Cleveland, they're hot, and to beat Cleveland is huge because they're pitching. I mean, even though the Sox won 4-0, their starter still got, I'm pretty sure, like 12 Ks in the game. So we'll take what we can get at this point until our pitching comes around. The Giolito, obviously, you pinpointed that he had a really good game after the horrible outing he had in the last game, which the bats saved him at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And to do what you can against a division team. Eloy came back, like I said, from his little injury stint. He's doing pretty well. Luis Robert dominating. He's batting a 386 so far. He had his first career hit in game 1. He had his first career home run, I think, in game 2 or 3 against the Twins. I'm looking forward to it. Regardless of what happens, their future is set up for success, and that's most important. But they're fun. They're fun to watch.
Did you see Shohei Ohtani start over the weekend?
Oh man, I did not. So I saw the highlights, and there wasn't much. He couldn't even get an out. I felt bad for the guy watching him out
Mm-hmm.
there. I don't even know when was the last game he pitched.
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
it's been a couple years. I think he did well in like the summer camp and all that.
mhm.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if like you saw, he was hitting like 94 on the gun. He normally hits like 101 when he pitches. So his velocity wasn't there. I think he still needs to warm up a little bit, get a
Yeah.
couple games. Maybe that was just a bad game for him, but yeah, unfortunate for Ohtani. I hope he bounces back, especially because I picked him to win the MVP. Hitting wise, I had the game up.
Yeah,
He's only hitting 143, but
yep.
a good game puts him right back in there anyway. so
Yep.
it doesn't necessarily matter with that. Also, I wanted to. There's one other to talk about. I can't remember, but that was a big disappointment for Shohei. And yeah, 1 week of baseball. Love talking baseball. But I think that's about it for all the news. A couple guys
Yep.
returned. A couple guys got DFA'd. And yeah, you want to move on to NBA news?
Yeah, we can do the NBA. Yeah, let's do the NBA. There's NFL news, but it's very, very minor news, which actually we can just get it out right now. I think the only news we have is Alex Smith got cleared to play for the
Yeah.
NFL, which is actually big news because the Washington football team, they obviously have Dwayne Haskins. They thought they were settled with him, and Alex Smith had a high chance of not returning back to football. Changes everything. Alex Smith is a good quarterback. He got cleared, so we'll see what happens. That's like the only news. We'll just get that out of the way. We'll keep everybody updated with that moving forward as we inch closer to the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's jump to basketball because that's besides.
One more thing with the NFL, the top 100 list. They have to be doing it for attention. Who is number one? Who do you think's number one?
In my eyes, it's Pat Mahomes.
They had Lamar Jackson at number one. Number two, Russell Wilson.
No way.
Number three, Aaron Donald. Number four, Pat Mahomes. Number five, Michael Thomas. 6 was McCaffrey. 7 was George Kittle. 8 was Hopkins. 9 was Gilmore. 10 was Derrick Henry. That list, absolutely garbage. If you guys focus on the NFL listing or rankings every year and care about it, throw it to the side and ignore it, because it's always garbage and will continue to be garbage.
That is a horrible ranking list. I'm pretty sure I saw Devontae Adams ranked super high.
Josh
I'm
Allen.
not saying this. Josh Allen, I think, was ranked better than a lot of people, a lot of players who are Pro Bowlers. But the one that like blew my mind was Devontae Adams was like 70. He was high.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw players behind him that are like Larry Fitzgerald, which don't get me wrong, career-wise, nobody's touching Larry Legend. You have Stephon Diggs. Aaron Jones of the Packers came in at 33. And I just don't feel like Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams are a 40-player gap. Like, that's, I don't know. The rankings are weird. The way I look at it, it's who would you want on your team to win a football game when it comes down to it? Pat Mahomes. Yeah. Lamar Jackson even would be number 2. Yeah. Aaron Donald for sure number 3. He's one of the best defensive players we've ever seen in his young career. But yeah, to have Pat Mahomes 4, all right, that's fine. It's like you said, they're doing it to draw attention, stir up some controversy. But my pick is gonna go with the money in this case.
Yeah, and Chris Carson, the running back for the Seahawks, he's ranked like 96th. It's like, no way. When you have 32 teams, it's your best 3 players from every team pretty much.
Yeah.
At most, if every team was even. And you have a bunch of teams that have more than 3 players that are doable in that. So it was voted on by the players. That's all you need to know. But
yeah, and I love Russell Wilson.
I do
as
too.
A player, as a quarterback. He's not a top 5 player. I'm sorry. He's not a top 5 player.
Anyways, though, NBA news. They have no COVID tests. So positive tests. So they're good to go for tomorrow. Double header. Voice crack. I'm sorry. My voice is strange. I've been doing a lot of talking the past week. Double header, though.
Yes. Who's
playing the Jazz?
It's Pelicans Jazz to tip off at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. Obviously, we know the Pelicans are going to try to force their way to fight for that 8th seed against the Grizzlies. That's who I feel like it's going to come down to. Jazz have good players. They've been a weird team. Bogdanovich, if I'm not mistaken, is done for the season. He's having surgery. So Joe Ingles is stepping in full time at the 3, I believe. So Michael Conley's been looking nice in practice. I've been watching social media clips of him. He's ready. His handles are as crispy as ever. And obviously they have Rudy Gobert, who he's the leader of the pack with COVID in the sports world. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this Pelicans team. I'm looking forward to Zion. Hopefully he plays. Brandon Ingram. That roster's deep. That roster's, at least the starting 5 is very solid. And then after that game at 8 p.m., we have the Clippers. We have the Lakers.
Woo!
The battle for Los Angeles.
In Orlando.
And as far as we know, all players should be playing. Anthony Davis rocking the goggles, basically channeling his inner Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with the Lakers with the goggles years ago, should be able to play. LeBron's looking good. Everybody's looking good. J.R. Smith is looking good. Deion Waiters won off in a game a couple games ago. And the Clippers, Kawhi, Paul George, Lou Will, the same Lou Will who needed wings from the strip club. It's going to be a good season. So tomorrow kicks off 2 very good games. And moving forward, I don't think the NBA ended up not doing the bubble in Chicago for just exhibition games. It would make no sense to do that. But it does look like, let's see, the next day is going to have some good games as well. So going into Friday, which tips off for the rest of the league pretty much, some games to look forward to. I would say Celtics and Bucks. That's going to be a very fun game to watch. That's going to be, for me, the equivalent to the Lakers Clippers. That's going to be an Eastern Conference final matchup potentially. And then later on in the day, at night, you have the Rockets versus the Mavs. Russell Westbrook, Harden, who has been on fire, even in exhibition games, going up against Luka, Kristaps, and a pretty damn good Mavericks team. So far, the matchups are good in the first couple of days. What are your thoughts, Healy? Are you excited?
Yeah, I am super excited. Baseball and now basketball coming back. Meaningful games. Like, I'm not as big of a basketball fan as baseball fan, but oh my, watching baseball last week just for like games that counted, it was magical. Definitely missed it. Glad it's back. And now that there's 2 sports to watch, woof, we are gonna be, I just want to sit inside and watch sports all day.
This allows for me to resume my FanDuel career. I don't know at what point I will win $1 million. It'll happen one of these days. If anybody's curious, I do have a lineup for tomorrow that I think should score 330 plus. Healy, are you interested in this FanDuel lineup?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So this FanDuel lineup,
a lot of pressure on the line.
There is. So you got to think of, it's only 2 games tomorrow, right? So you have Utah versus the Pelicans. You have LA versus LA. Starting at the point guard positions, I am rolling with Michael Conley, who should put up decent numbers, and he's kind of a value buy. He's super cheap. He's $5,700 for a guy who's probably going to play most of the game. The Pelicans defense isn't that great, so I would assume the Jazz to put up some numbers. Going against him on the other side, Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball has been hot this year. There's no reason he shouldn't put up numbers. He's on the more expensive side, about $7,900. I'm going Lonzo Ball. Moving to the 2 guards, I'm going Donovan Mitchell, only because Donovan Mitchell is good. And he's kind of on the cheap side, I would say, for Donovan Mitchell. He's only worth $7,200.
Mm-hmm.
My other 2 guard, I did go super cheap. I'm going Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, whose game time decision, they are saying he should play. Super cheap. He's only worth 3,700 on a team where Avery Bradley backed out. I would expect Contavious
What
Caldwell Pope.
what's Waiters and J.R. Smith at?
So Waiters and J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith is at $4,000. Don't forget about Danny Green.
Yeah.
Danny Green is 4,100. Dion Waiters, they have marked at the small forward position.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's 3,800. Who Waiters flexes. He's like one of those guys who plays the two guard. He plays the forward. He can play the forward because of his height. He plays the two guard because he can shoot.
Yeah.
So I'm going Caldwell Pope only because he should log about 20 minutes, and I need someone cheap because the rest of my lineup is juicy. So I have at small forward, I have LeBron James. King James, super expensive, 11.4. Against the Clippers, I expect him to show out, even against Kawhi Leonard. And then my other small forward, I'm going Joe Ingles. He's worth 5,500. He should log about 35 minutes in this game. We know he can be lights out from downtown. And then I'm going to keep going. We have the power forward position. I do have on the opposite end of the Lakers, it's going to be on the Clippers, is Marcus Morris, who actually will log a good amount of time. He'll play probably anywhere between 20, 25, 26 minutes. I expect him to do well. He's worth 4,200. Should play Anthony Davis, 10.4, 10,400 against the Clippers. Even if he only logs 30 minutes, Anthony Davis, he's a stat filler, blocks, maybe a couple steals, points, rebounds. And I'm going cheap on the center only because they are weak at center, and he should log at least 20 minutes. I'm going to go Dwight Howard, super cheap at 3,900. Clippers don't really have that great of centers. I would expect him to have maybe a 6-8 game, which is going to be just enough to pad the stat book. So that is my lineup for FanDuel. If you want to steal it, go for it. We can share the $1 million. But that is my lineup.
Yeah, we're gonna post it on our social media pages tomorrow as well. Probably we're gonna post it around game time. So if it does do well, you won't be able to necessarily steal it unless you're paying attention. But it'll be close enough. If you guys have different lineups and want to share it after the game start, and you have a really good one, go ahead. We'll be down for the interaction, down to talk. But yeah, we're gonna post on the Instagram story and also on our Twitter page tomorrow night. Well, we'll see if Dustin is the guru or he's gonna be a little rusty for tomorrow.
It's day one. I'm still knocking off the rust. Maybe, who knows? Maybe I've had this lineup planned for weeks now. Who knows? I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, we got that rolling. Any other news with the NBA besides the fact that it's starting finally?
Not necessarily. We could talk about the awards. Finish off with that.
Yes.
Forgot
End
about
of
the awards.
Season award, the most important. Everybody's tuning in for this.
Yeah, so we're gonna go over our MVPs, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved. Maybe I haven't really paid attention to Most Improved.
You know you're most improved.
Oh, okay.
You know you're most improved. It's the same. We talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go over most improved as well.
Coach of the Year and then
Coach of the Year we can
player.
do, yeah. Yeah, I think Coach of the Year will be a good one as well because I think there's definitely some coaches who are doing pretty damn well in the NBA right now. And I think that'll
Yeah. I think we're gonna be on the same page for like almost every award.
Yeah. Yep. So let's just get it started, Healy. Hit me with your MVP.
I am going to go with Giannis again. His PER for the season, the numbers he put up, his team's the number 1 seed. I feel like a lot of people are going to say LeBron or want LeBron because he did have a fantastic year as well. But we talked earlier in the year, Giannis had one of the best PERs of all time.
All time. Yep.
And unfortunately, the season ended. This is going to be taken from March 14th or whatever, somewhere around. But yeah, I got to go back-to-back MVP Giannis.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, you nailed it on the head. I love LeBron, obviously. I'm a LeBron fan, but when push comes to shove, you can throw all the stats you want, but Giannis is dominating. And he's better than he was last year. He was on pace to break the record for PER in a season, player efficiency rating in a
Yeah.
season. Better than Wilt, better than Jordan.
He did
I
fall
mean,
down to 7, but
yeah, he did. Yeah, he fell, obviously, but he was on his way. We don't know how the season would have actually ended. Now, they did say that the voting is based on where the season stopped. It's not going to include these however many games
yeah.
they're going to play, 8 games or whatever. So I do thoroughly believe that the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo should and is well deserved, has well deserved the MVP for a second straight year, averaging almost 30 points a game, just under 14 rebounds. He's averaging just about 6 assists a game, shooting 55%. 31.6 PER. I don't understand how anybody else would be able to win. I know voters fatigue. They don't like to always go back to back. They have done in the past. We could see LeBron do it. If they want to vote LeBron in as MVP just because of his age, that is not fair. Is what he's doing at 35 is it's remarkable. It's remarkable. We've seen very few players ever do that. I think in my time of watching basketball, not looking at older players, but what I've actually watched, I've seen like Tim Duncan do really good at that age, maybe Dirk do really good, but not move the way LeBron's moving. And there's no denying his athleticism has barely slowed down. He is averaging a double-double, 26 points, just about 10 and a half assists, 8 boards. You know, great. His field goal percentage, about 50%. It's everything you could ask for out of LeBron at 35. They are one of the best teams in the NBA, but also at the same time, the Bucks, who have less talent as far as payroll and how many all-stars they have, and they have 53 wins, 12 losses. Their home record is ridiculous, 28-3. And they were on pace for setting an Eastern Conference record. Their point differential is 11.2. And I am saying it is all because of Giannis. And he has a good supporting cast, but Giannis deserves the MVP.
Yeah, Giannis he's averaging 29.6, 13.7 rebounds, 5.8. He also has 1 steal and 1 block a game. All around just a monster.
Monster. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. He should be one of the Monstars in the new Space Jam that LeBron's starring in, because he's gonna be in LeBron's ass if they are in the finals together.
Mm-hmm. Defensive Player of the Year. Who do you think is going to take that?
That's really, really tough. I know right now there is a lot of people are saying that the defensive player of the year should be Giannis, and Giannis is good overall.
Yeah.
Defensively, he's good. I still think when it comes down to it, rebounding is a great stat, but that's a stat that's easily stuffed, as we've seen by
Mm-hmm.
guards over the past few years. I still think that all in all, the best defensive season best defensive player this year, I personally think it should be Anthony
Yep.
Davis. I know he doesn't have as many rebounds as he has in the past, but he's a league leader in blocks. He's up there in blocks. He's averaging 2.4 blocks and a steal and a half a game. I know it doesn't sound like much to have half a steal more per game, but when you think about it over the term of a season, it adds up to more. So I'm going to have to go with AD for Defensive Player of the Year.
That's who I had as well.
Okay, so
yeah. I think we're going to have same picks for everything. We're going to be on the same page for all this. Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert, is he having a good one as well? I did remember people talking about Giannis for Defensive Player of the Year. No, Gobert is not going to be close to this. So
good player, but yeah, his again rebounding, it's a great stat, but it only tells a little bit of the tale,
Rookie of the year. Now, since this is people are gonna get mad for this pick. For rookie of the year for end of March, I am gonna go with John Morant for rookie of the year.
Only because the season didn't finish.
Yep. Zion was on track. He just needed to play the remainder of the games. He was going to make an impact, put his name out there. But John Morant, he was there from the beginning. And since the voting's end of March, none of these games are going to count. John Morant's played in 60 games. Zion has played in 19 games. I just don't see that to be enough.
It's not enough.
24 points, 7 rebounds, 2.2 assists, while John Morant's at 18, 6.9 assists, and a half rebounds. Don't see it. I see John Morant taking that.
Yeah, hands down. It's got to be John Morant. He's been playing great basketball. He's almost put, I don't know how many number of players on posters. He can shoot the ball. He can pass. He's quick. He's really great first step. Would I pick Zion? Was Zion on his way to winning it if if the season continued for the next 25 games or whatever it may have been?
Yeah.
He could have won. He definitely could have won because he had been going off. Playing big boy basketball. He's bullying people in the paint. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. I would have to say John Morant. And I know there's other players out there that are really good. I believe Kendrick Nunn was another rookie. Could be wrong, but I don't really know who else really steps up to John Morant's level. I mean, the numbers are there. He scores. He's not too. I don't want to say he's too crazy with he doesn't get a lot of assists that you would expect from a point guard. But when you look at Derrick Rose, somebody who's flashy of a player, and that's kind of the route John Morant's taken, maybe not as athletic, still room to grow. I would say he's second to none when it comes to the amount of games or the regular season, quote unquote. Kendrick Nunn, he had a really good year too with Miami, came out of nowhere. He averaged 16 points a game. He averaged, 3.5 assists. It wasn't too great all around, but he had some really big games. But even then, still doesn't get close to John Morant.
Then we can move over. Yeah.
Same. Most improved?
Yeah, most improved. I forgot who I mentioned before, but I think it was a good one. Can't remember exactly who it was. Was it Levine or is it someone else?
Well, Levine would be a good pick, but there is Brandon Ingram.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Brandon Ingram went to New Orleans. He turned it up. Yes, Brandon Ingram. No doubt about that, I don't think.
Brandon Ingram, yeah, he has to be. Even after Zion came back, he still had some pretty big games offensively. He's lengthy. He's a great stretch forward. Defensively, actually, isn't that bad. I think he's definitely the most improved player. There is another player that was up for most improved that I think does give Brandon Ingram a run for his money. And that is Bam Adebayo from Miami, he's gonna be dangerous. He's dangerous now, but give him a couple more years, he is gonna be dangerous. Last season, he played the full season, averaged 24 minutes a game. He scored 9 points a game. Nothing really special. 7 boards. This year, I'm pretty sure he was an all-star. He played 65 games, started all 65, doubled his point total, 16.2 points per game, 10.5 boards, 5 assists, and you're talking about a power forward. This guy is a power forward / center. He originally came to the league as a center. They played him at the power forward more often. But they have Hassan Whiteside and whatnot, or they did have Hassan Whiteside at one point. So he kind of floated around. He got the opportunity this season finally, and he has flourished. That Miami team is really good out of the East, but still most improved just because he had some incredible games, and there's no slowing him down. It's got to be Brandon Ingram.
And then I think the final award would be Coach of the Year. I was taking a look, and I don't think there's anyone more deserving than the Mike Budenholzer or whatever for the Bucks. Is that the coach for them?
For the Milwaukee Bucks, yeah. So
Yeah,
he's
Mike
obviously got
Budden.
the best record. Budenholzer. So I was looking at this, and I felt like we would have a difference in this pick. As much as I want to say yes to Mike, he does have Giannis, and he is in the East, which, as we know, is weak.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to say, but I like what the Toronto Raptors have done, having the third best record in the NBA.
That is true.
Nick Nurse. I
Again,
thought Toronto. I'm gonna give it to him. They don't have Kawhi Leonard. They don't have Danny Green, and Pascal Siakam. Out of the 62 games that the teams have played, 65, he missed like 10 or 11 games, and I just think with the team that they have, it should be Nick Nurse. I feel like he's doing more with less.
yeah, no, that completely makes
But
sense. I kind of forgot about that. I was just thinking of how dominant the Bucks were, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll go
yeah,
with them.
that's where I'm like, the Bucks were on pace. I mean, just the whole point differential, and they don't really have much besides Giannis. If you get someone to stop Giannis, I don't know who in what
Chris
world is going to
Middleton,
do that.
maybe, but
Chris Middleton is pretty good. I do like. They have some other. That's like it. That's like their whole offense right there. They have like DiVincenzo. They have. I think they have George Hill still. They have some other players. They have the Lopez brothers. But I don't know if Milwaukee. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks, if Mike Budenholzer got the Coach of the Year award. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But I do think it should go to Nick Nurse simply because he lost everybody.
yeah, no, that completely makes sense. I saw them and I was like, okay, they won the championship last year. They lost Kawhi, like you said, the injury concerns. They weren't supposed to be that great. They were supposed to fall off quite a bit.
A lot.
They didn't. They were up there. We went and saw them play the Bulls, and we're just like, wow, this team is great.
They fire on all cylinders. We watched them at full strength.
Yeah.
So we did see Pascal Siakam play, and the Bulls should have won that game. And we saw Boylan. It was just bad coaching throughout the whole game. It was just bad coaching. Levine got shut down after the first quarter when he scored like 17 or something crazy. And, the Bucks powered through. They shut down Levine. They shut down pretty much everybody besides like Daniel Gafford. Daniel Gafford is the future of the Bulls. We'll do a segment for Chicago fans. I'm wearing the Bulls shirt right now. On Facebook, I'm a top fan on the Die Hard Chicago Bulls Facebook page. Just want to point that out there. But yeah, you know what? Toronto is a fun team to watch. I like what they have to offer. They do have some pretty good talent, but they don't have Kawhi. They don't have a player even relatively close to Giannis. And I know Pascal Siakam is incredible, but nobody's close to Giannis. And in the East, like I said, the East is kind of easy. It has been, especially since LeBron left.
Yeah.
So, but that's our picks. I don't know. Are we gonna get more major? Are we gonna start doing like executive of the year? I don't know if I'm ready for that.
No, I'm not at that level yet. No way.
Okay. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. We could. I mean, sixth man of the year. There's Dennis Schroeder should probably end up winning it. I know Lou Will comes off the bench, does well. Sixth man is always a toss-up because there's great players that come off the bench. Derrick Rose, I think, qualifies for the sixth man as well, which we watched him have some great games this year. I don't really know if I have a pick for sixth man.
No, that's like kind of like an odd one to do.
Yeah.
Because a lot, like, unless you follow every game and you know who starts, who doesn't, I also feel like sixth man is kind of a weak award. It's given to a guy who doesn't start games, but he'll play a majority of the minutes. But since he
Yeah,
doesn't start, he's considered for the sixth man.
exactly. It's a weird award. I think there should be a criteria for minutes per game. Shot attempts doesn't really matter, but guys like Lou Williams will come in. He'll play damn near 30, 32 minutes, which is starter minutes, and he'll shoot the ball 18 times.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times, six man, they don't look at other stats. They look at straight up points per game because it looks like you're drawing it off the bench when realistically you're coming off the bench, but you're playing start. You're basically playing the starter role.
You're just sitting out for 3 minutes and then you're playing the normal game. Same with Manu Ginobili. We always talk about how you got Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan. How many sixth man of the year awards did Manu win? But he was a big piece of that. Like James Harden. James Harden won sixth man of the year back when the Thunder made the finals.
The
And
Thunder,
it's
and he
like,
played almost the whole game.
yeah, and it's like James Harden should have been starting at that point.
Yep. And then there is in Chicago, we had Ben Gordon win his rookie season. He won sixth man, but he played almost the whole fourth quarter. He averaged like 30 minutes a game. Again, another one that shot the ball extremely well and but he shot a lot. But that's what it comes down to. The sixth man of the year award is one of those that could be critiqued a little bit. Because I mean, yeah, sure, you're the sixth man, but if I'm starting ahead of you and I'm only playing 12, 15 minutes, I'm going to feel like I'm not the starter.
Yeah.
So,
Very odd. Completely forgot about that award.
yep.
I think that's going to do it, though, for this week's episode of the Standing Room Only podcast. Make sure to follow our social medias, SR Only Pod, on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow myself at the Healy6. You can follow Goose at iGoose with 4 O's. Don't ask why.
Don't do it.
We'll be back next week with some more live sports recap, baseball, basketball, maybe some hockey.
Maybe hockey, maybe football. We might have some football news. Maybe more guys will back out of the season. Who knows? We'll keep you updated. Again, make sure you tune in. Tune into the social media. We'll see. Let's compare FanDuel lineups. Again, I'll put it out tomorrow before the games start. So if you listen to the podcast, you'll have a head start on what your lineup should be. If you just follow us on social media, well, good luck getting your lineup in time because the $1 million, that lineup is there. It's ready for you. And guess what? It's free of charge. All you have to do is follow us and hit that download button. That's it. And I'll keep doing it.
Yeah. And also, if you listen to the podcast in advance, you'll be getting the lineup before we put it out in general. So,
yep.
Incentive to listen. But we will see you guys next week, and I hope you have a good one.